Hi, I'm Sherman Rowland with Highland Park Lapidary, and I want to talk to you a little bit about making spheres. Many of you know that we produce a lot of spheres, and we have a larger core drill that we use for preforming for the spheres called the CD. And many of you would ask, can you make a core drill that is smaller but allow me to drill hard agates, jaspers, also softer stuff like this Picasso stone for your preforming? And we came up with the CD4. So the CD4 is really designed to drill the balls up to about a 4-inch ball. In theory, you can put a 5-inch on it, but that's about the limit. It has a 2-horsepower motor, which you can see right up there. And I'll talk more about the motor and drivetrain in a minute here. But it's really designed to preform, and that's one of the things that people usually run into when they're making spheres is you've got to do 26 cuts, a bunch of different cuts, angle grinding to be able to then get my preform good enough to go into my sphere machine. And that's a time-taking process. The core drilling we've been doing for probably 20 years or something like that in our sphere cutting operation. As many of you know, we also have own spheres to you. And the core drilling allows me to take one cut, pull out a core, and then through a series of jigs, core that core either 3 to 5 more times so that I'm coming out with essentially a round ball. A little bit of angle grinding using one of the wet grinders and a turbo wheel, and then right into my sphere machine for cutting. So I'm going to take you through kind of this machine, how it's configured, how you use it. Many people ask the question, well, why is the machine so heavy duty? For those of you who have done coring and you've attempted to use a concrete drill, that was what led us to know that we needed something much more rugged. You'll see sometimes out there, you'll see like these concrete hole drills or core drills that you can core asphalt and concrete. And asphalt and concrete is soft. It's easy to drill, relatively speaking, compared to, say, an Arizona wood or a mookaite or any kind of hard agates and jaspers. To drill a harder stone, it takes a lot more power, a lot more force, and the ability to keep that bit straight, especially when the piece that you're drilling is a stone. So the core drill is really designed to accommodate that particular aspect where you're setting up your stone, and our preferred process is to take the preform that we have, use the core bit, draw with a Sharpie where I want to put my holes in there, put plaster on the bottom. We use plaster Paris to kind of level it so we can set it level and put it right up on the deck on the wood. And then with the core drill, I'm going to set up and I'm going to come down. If you actually see, if I want to rapid this drill down, you'll see there's a digital indicator here. I can actually come down to where I want to be drilling. Once I get to that particular place, pretending our rock's in there, then I now have a fine control for being able to slowly control the speed of my cut. Now obviously I'm not set up here. I'll do some videos later showing actual drilling, but I can really control the speed of my cut, and this is I'm showing this is in millimeters, so I can really run this slowly, because a lot of times when you're drilling, especially when you're first getting that set of the bit and the stone, you need to be able to go slowly in there so it doesn't grab the rock and spin the rock in here. There's not a jig that we're using to hold the rock. We've never seen that to be successful because that actually has you move more too aggressively and have the likelihood of being able to wreck your bit by having it grab, break segments off, things like that. So you want to come in easy. This whole design is be able to put your piece on there. If I go back up, let me just take you through kind of an overview. Basic principle, you do your first cut with the stone, plaster Paris, do your first drill. I'll cover cross drill jigs here in a minute to show you how that works. I'm going to talk about the overall framework first. So it's built rugged because when you're drilling hard agate, you're not going to do it on a cement drill, as I said earlier. Hard agates, hard jaspers, petrified wood, it takes some serious power. So you can see our whole framework is very rigid. We use a linear bearing and this round shaft going through the top. You can see gussets on here. This is really a pretty potently strong built machine. You'll see there's a whole splash guard here. When we're running the drill, we put a piece of expanded polyethylene foam in the front. You can slip it in, slip it out. It keeps the spray off of you. So it's really designed to be able to isolate you a little bit from any kind of the spray off the bit. You'll notice that there's a a sprayer right here, which can be positioned anywhere. Comes from one of the pumps underneath the tank. You'll see there's 2 pumps underneath there. One for the main center, one for here. If you add an Everclean to this, which you can run, then there's an additional pump would go in there as well. That's your basic tank for all your sludge. You're cutting for sphere preforms, and you're running a gang of saws. Literally, sell them up on the Facebook Lapidary Equipment Marketplace, buy a CoreDrill, and you're going to have way more throughput and speed and precision and less grinding. So you've got sprayer here. Come around the back here, AJ. You'll see also in the back here, you'll see this is where coolant's coming into a rotating union. That rotating union feeds coolant through the center of the bit. Of course, as you would expect with Highland Park, this is heavy-duty stainless steel, so it's not going to rust on you. These covers here, if you just show that these are also access points to grease zert. The drive mechanism on this, 2 horsepower motor with a cog belt, heavy-duty cog belt going to another pulley here. That pulley slides on the shaft. It runs on a sleeve, and this hex drive then allows us to raise and lower the drill and transferring power to a second cog belt driving my main spindle right down here. So, so that's how we actually allow this to raise and lower. You'll see just the armatures and the framework on this are seriously heavy duty. Key thing here is when we're drilling, you want to know where the bottom is. So in the front, we'll go back around. I can set what 0 is, and I can know when I'm getting to 0 so that I don't inadvertently drill through my board here. So on the front, this is using a oil over air control. So basically, I'm dampening the movement of the cylinder with 2 cylinders of hydraulic oil, and I'm using an air, and I'm just using, in this case, a little pancake air compressor, which is perfectly fine for being able to raise and lower this. It does not take a whole lot of power. So if I'm looking to rapid lower this, I basically, you'll see there's 2 valves here. This is my high speed control for lowering and raising quickly. This is my metered flow, so I can control the speed of my drill very precisely. And basically what I'm doing is I'm bleeding out of this, and the weight of the head is what's accommodating the force of the drill going through the rock. So if I go drop down and if I have it locked, nothing's going to happen. If I open this valve, you'll see I'm rapid, and you'll see my countdown's going very quickly. If I go stop that rapid control, I open up my fine control, and now I can come down through at extremely slow rates. So if I'm drilling mookaite, or if I'm drilling Arizona wood, something really tough, I can really control the speed of this. And this is a design we've used, as I said, almost 20 years. This is the 4th generation of the CoreDrill that we've done, and we're really excited about it because it's seriously badass. If I want to then come up quickly, I open my rapids up. I can bring the controls on the unit are really simple. This is my raise, my lower. Just like an aircraft, I want to go up, I pull it towards me. I want to go down, I push it away. Once I close this, I push down, and now I'm ready to, in my drill position, to control the speed of my drilling. The main control box is pretty straightforward here. There's a fast stop, and what this does is this allows me to incredibly quickly use the motor with braking the whole drill using the motor, stopping the drill. So that's a quick, fast drill stop. We'll show you the variable frequency drive that we use on this, which is very, very clever. There's this on-off for the pumps. The pumps on this, the cord that comes off the side, this yellow cord, why don't you come around the back, actually. This comes off of the variable frequency drive, and this is 220 volt for your pumps. So do not plug in a 110 volt pump. This is 220. You'll see on the side of the box there's my on-off. There's also a e-stop, but this is not a fast brake. This is where my air comes in. We have a regulator, a filter, and then this also on the outside is catching any oil coming out of my bleed down here as well. So the integrated pneumatics right on the back of the unit, as you can see, it's really.
So right here, down below, this is really the magic of this unit. We're taking 220 60 hertz power from your wall, and we're driving a 50 hertz 3-phase motor. So that's really cool because that makes the whole unit variable speed. And that being able to take that standard 220 and drive a 3-phase motor, you don't need a phase converter in your shop. That little box you're seeing there actually generates 3-phase to control that motor there. That's a game changer. And we're using this same technology in the variable speed tumblers that we have coming out and some other machines where variable speed is extremely valuable to have. Now you also see on top of this, there's a fan, because when we slow this thing down, that fan is cooling that motor down, so you don't have the risk of it overheating when we're driving that bit at a slower speed. Because the bigger bit you turn, you generally have to run slower motor speeds because of the linear speed of it.
On the front of the drill, you'll see we have an on-off. This is for turning the actual drill on. So pump on, off, drill on, off, fast stop, unhook the fast drop. And what this is doing is by using the variable frequency drive, we are stopping the motor extremely quickly. So if something's going awry, hit the e-stop. And that's basically going to stop that motor. It's going to stop your whole drivetrain. The fast drill stop is in electric braking. So we're actually using the variable frequency drive electronically to make the motor stop by doing electric braking. So it's very good. It's a safety feature that's really good on this. Let's step back. So the first step we've done is we've drilled, pull out our core. Then we go to our cross drill jigs. And I'll just put this up. So this is the cross drill jig. Now each bit has a matched cross drill jig. So this is a 4-inch bit, this is a 4-inch cross drill jig. And your first drill, when you get your drill, is to put your core in there, and you're going to drill down through the core, and you're going to drill in through the jig. Now the diamond segment's going to cut through your jig with no problem. Just go ease it through, and we'll have some videos on that, but it's very straightforward to do that. And then once you do your first drill, this little pin here sets my distance of my preform, and you'll set this up when you configure your drill. There's a configuration process where you center your jigs, making sure your jig's all there, and that's a separate video I'll do. But basically, the cross drill jig then allows me to do each cut. Do my first cut, turn it, do my second cut, turn it, do my third cut, so I can cut all the edges off. The jig is really the magic of being able to then take this core drill and very rapidly make your preforms simple, real quick, 2-3 minutes most of grinding, and then you're into your sphere machine. So when your drill arrives to you, it'll arrive in a pallet laying on its side. We pre-fill these hydraulics. You'll need to then remove these plugs, which are on the top. You'll need to remove these and then plug in the pneumatic lines. So that's really the only kind of configuration you need to do. It all is pre-aligned. This is all alignable. If you see these set screws here, all the set screws are really what you do adjustment. We've done another video that shows you how to adjust the alignment of the unit, which you can take a look at. If you just walk around the unit, let's just shoot some videos. So if you look at the particular unit here, it's got a 1/2-inch plate of steel. This is extremely heavy duty. The steel right here. You see the framework on this is extremely heavy duty. We've got lots of strength to it. It's not that heavy of a unit. It's probably around 1,500 pounds or so. So it's not super heavy. It ships in a large crate. One thing I didn't cover here is the digital readout, and this is going to be edited in earlier. The digital readout allows me to set what 0 is on my drill, so that I know when I do my first drilling, I know where the 0 is. So this is all programmable, and that allows you to precisely know both your speed of how many millimeters per minute you're drilling, and also how far down you are in terms of when you're drilling. But the overview of the machine is really fairly easy to understand, that this unit allows you to cut a huge amount of preforms. It also allows you to cut for lamps. So if you're drilling for making lamps out of any kind of semi-translucent material, it's perfect for that. It's also very, very good for cutting holes for candle holders, anything that you need to either put holes in or you need to make round shapes out of, preforms for eggs as well. The core drill is absolutely the fastest way to be able to get that job done. So please check out more of our videos. We'll be doing more training videos on this as well, but if you want to take your cutting operation to another level and really put economics back into your business, this is a way of really making some money.
Hey, thanks for watching today. If you like what you see, click the like button. Subscribe if you want to get more videos like this, and down below in the description you'll find a link that goes to our website. It goes to also what we showed you today, more information about that, and leave comments if there's things that you like, if there's things that you want us to do more on, if there's videos that you want us to shoot that we haven't shot. We're very open to that. We're really looking for ways to help you be successful in your endeavors with the tools and technologies that we create, as well as any other aspect of the hobby.